Hi. I watched a video this morning by a woman who, I'll try to put a link down below, because I can't remember exactly her channel. But she was talking about some of the things that she's learned as she's gotten older. And I thought, you know what, we all, those of us who are older have a lot of life experience to share. So I thought I would share, I have three major things that I've learned over the years. I'm going to be 71 in a couple of weeks. So over the last year, when I turned 70, I did a lot of self-reflection. I tend to do that anyway. I probably spend way too much time thinking and analyzing. But anyway, I want to get into it and explain some of the things that I have learned in my 71 years. First of all, number one, I am learning as an older woman to stop living for other people's expectations. Now, most of my life, I've always been dressed, and I'm still struggling with this part. There's a part of me that would love, there's a hippie inside me who would love to wear bohemian clothes and, have that bohemian style. But I buy this stuff. I get a few things here and there. We had trade. My husband and I had we published a magazine, and we had trade with a local shop who had all these beautiful bohemian clothes. I had like $600 a year in trade, and so I would collect a few things. I didn't use all my trade, but I would collect things and then not wear them because I'm thinking, I was too self-conscious that when I look different than what people expect, then I'm concerned about the response, which is really stupid. So I'm learning to let go of that, although I'm sitting here wearing this drab t-shirt because I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of person too. That person, part of the deal is I feel like if I'm just going to be at home, why would I want to put all those clothes on? So even though, because they're not necessarily as comfortable. Some of them are. But I paint and I don't want to get paint on them, and, I'm not going anywhere, so what's the point? Half the time it takes me till noon before I even get dressed. So anyway, that's my battle that I'm still dealing with. But as far as with other things, I am still learning to, oh, my cat, my kitty, little puppy is trying to distract me. I'm still learning to let go of that need to please other people. People pleasing is a trap. It's so easy to get into and it's really hard to break. So that's what I'm working on, and I've gotten a lot better at it. I'm still way far away from conquering that, but I am doing better. I'm learning to say no and do not agree to do things that I don't want to do, because I don't want to make somebody feel bad. I'm over that. The second thing that I've really been I've struggled with my whole life was worthiness. And my dad passed away at 101 years old, almost a year ago. And when that happened, or actually when he turned 100, I finally told him how I felt. Because my sense of unworthiness really stemmed from when my parents got divorced when I was 13. My dad, who I wasn't really close to anyway, I mean, I knew that he loved me, or I was his kid, but I didn't feel overly loved. I didn't feel cherished. And so he left and married the woman he was having an affair with, raised her children, and left me in the dust. He barely, I probably saw him maybe 3 times a year for the rest of my life, pretty much. And so, but he always talked like we had this great relationship. Oh, we're such a great family. I'm thinking, no, we're not. I was gaslit. I thought, yeah, I guess we are. Yeah, this is really cool. And then I realized, no, that's not true. We were not this great family. He might have had a great family, but I wasn't part of it. I was like the stepchild when I'd go visit. So, that was the root of my unworthiness. I'm not laying all this blame on him. I'm just noting that that's where it all started. Well, actually, I think it started before that, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Prior to that, it was just my sister, myself, my dad, and my mom, just the four of us. But we were like four people who were totally untethered from each other. We were living different lives. We were all in our own little worlds. There wasn't a lot of lovey, kissy, high hugs and, good feelings. It was just, we had everything we needed and everything was okay. It just wasn't, we weren't connected. So that's why I, as an adult, have been pretty much disconnected. I am totally fine with being on my own. I live here in this little cracker box that I live in, and I'm totally fine spending 99% of my life in this little space. I don't go very many places. I'm doing things outside of here, but I only do a little bit. Most of the time I'm just right here, and I am totally fine with it. And so I've learned that it's okay to live my way, not let other people determine my value and determine how I should live. The society says you're supposed to have all these friends, and you're supposed to be successful and busy, busy, busy. Well, that's not how I live my life. So number 3 is, in the course of all this, like I said, when my dad passed away, I spent a lot of time reflecting and trying to figure out, why am I not really upset that my dad passed away? I barely shed a tear because I didn't even feel close to him. We just did small talk. We didn't really communicate that much. So in the course of that reflection, I started thinking about, have I even made a difference in the world? How am I even contributing to the world? Does it even matter that I'm here? And I wasn't saying that in a suicidal way. It was just, what's the point? Have I even done anything? How has my life contributed to the world? On a, not necessarily on a grand scale, of course, but how have I made any kind of difference in the world? And then I got to thinking about all the things that I've done. As an adult, I raised 4 children, 3 of them by myself because I was a single mom for the last 3 children. I've been a manager of a retail department. I've trained horses. I've ridden horses. I've showed horses. I've bartended. I've done a lot of different things. I've been in a lot of different situations. I demonstrated food at the store while my kids were growing up. There's a lot of things that I've done that have contributed to the world. I was a campfire leader for one of my sons when they started accepting boys. And I was the song leader at their day camp one year. And I signed up to do it, and then I went, oh shit, I don't know any songs. So I had to go meet with the gal who had done it before and learn some camp songs. Because I didn't know anything. I just thought, oh, I like to sing. Well, that was really stupid. But I did it, and it was fun. And I felt really good about myself. So over the course of my life, everything that I've done has given me a little bit more confidence, a little bit more feeling of self-worth. And in the last 21 years, since I moved to the city I'm living in now, I have been involved in community theater. And I've been in several productions. I counted up between theatrical productions and singing engagements and singing groups that I've been in. I've been in a jazz vocal group. I was in briefly in a female barbershop group. Here she comes. And I've sung as a soloist. I was in a folk group. We traveled around the Northwest. And so, I've done a lot of things. I think I counted 31 different things that I've been involved in the last 21 years. And it's been wonderful. It saved my life when my son died. Theater is what saved my life. It really kept me distracted, gave me something else to think about besides how sad I was. Nope, do not climb that. No, get down, Poppy, no. So, sorry. So anyway, and then 12 and a half years ago, my friend and I decided to do our own theater company thing. We don't make any money. We had enough to get started, and we're just happy when we get our money back, which is pretty much what we've done. So we've done we've done a show a year, except during COVID, and we only do comedy. And so I am making a difference in people's lives by either singing, and I do karaoke every couple of weeks, just because it's an opportunity to sing, and I love to sing. And so by doing those things, I am making a difference in my life, in other people's lives, and mine. Excuse me. For example, I was in Moon Over Buffalo several years ago. I played Charlotte, and after the show, somebody came out to greet us, after we finished, and she says, "I just want to thank you for doing this. My husband was supposed. Oh, the sun is shifting. My husband was supposed to have his leg amputated this week, but it didn't happen for whatever reason. I want to thank you for giving us 2 hours of laughter and fun, and we totally forgot about the problems that we're dealing with." And I said, well, that's why we do it. I mean, I got all choked up, and that is why I do it. That's why we all do it. We love it. We love to entertain. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. There's nothing more fun than being on stage and saying something funny, and the audience laughs, and it's like, oh my God, it just feeds your soul. And then you give them more, and then they feed you more. It's such a wonderful experience. I think about Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran or any of those guys who perform to stadiums. You got to think about this. And I don't know if you've ever been involved in any kind of theatrical production or any kind of performance, where when you're up there and the audience responds favorably, it's like a drug. I mean, it just fills you, and it's so healing. And so I think about, like, Taylor Swift. I've watched her recent documentary 6-part thing on, I forget where it was, Disney, I think. She is up there by herself, well, with her dancers and stuff, but they are exuding all this positivity. Everything they're doing is positive. And then the people that listen to her are super excited to be there. They're all so happy. They're elated. And so they're sending all that energy to her, and she's sending it all back. No wonder they're all positive. I mean, it's such a beautiful example of what that feels like. And I've felt it on a level compared to that. But it is wonderful. So I'm a big proponent of sharing joy and spreading shining your light, which is why I'm doing this. I mean, I'm not any sage, wise person. I just want people to feel good. I want people to understand that you don't have to wait till you're 71 years old to do all this stuff, to recognize these things. Work on it now. I wish somebody would have told me this stuff when I was younger. We didn't have the internet when I was a kid. We didn't have any of this stuff. We had the encyclopedia. And you go to the library to learn anything. You had the news and whatever they told you, but we didn't have access to all this information. So I'm hoping to make a difference by doing videos like this and encouraging you to be creative and to recognize your creativity in everything you do. We're creative in everything we do. So I really hope that you'll give it some thought and go out there and create something, whether it's just create some happiness, do whatever makes you feel good, because it really is important. So just recognize your strengths, because you have them. We all do. We tend to forget to acknowledge our own strengths. So with that, I will leave you, and I appreciate you listening. If you made it this far, I'll be kind of amazed. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and go create some magic somewhere.